Lahore, once a jewel of emperors and poets, now breathes a toxic grey veil. A city suffocating under its own smog. This is not just an environmental crisis, but a fading of spirit. A slow erasure of history beneath a sky that has forgotten the color blue. Lahore was born from dreams of beauty and grandeur, its streets once alive with poetry and splendor. Today, those dreams are buried beneath layers of dust and industrial soot, as the city's lungs struggle against a relentless tide of pollution. The air is thick with the residue of unchecked progress, coal smoke, factory fumes, and the ghost of a paradise lost. In the Mughal era, Lahore was a canvas for emperors, its architecture a prayer in marble and stone. The city pulsed with culture and confidence, its gardens and mosques symbols of a golden age. But as empires faded, so did Lahore's protection, leaving its beauty exposed to the slow decay that would one day become its curse. The Shalimar Gardens, once a vision of paradise, now stand as a haunting echo of lost harmony. Neglect and new priorities fractured the city's soul as rivers and breezes turned from life-givers to carriers of decay. The storm of pollution gathered slowly, each forgotten responsibility adding to the invisible shroud that now suffocates Lahore. Anarkali Bazaar, once a vibrant heart of Lahore, now fights a daily battle against dust and exhaust. The market's energy has shifted from celebration to survival, its people adapting to a new normal of polluted air and muted colors. The legendary whispers of love and life have been replaced by the harsh rasp of lungs struggling for breath. Lahore's final curse was self-inflicted, a pact with progress that brought industry, but at the cost of clean air and health. Explosive, unregulated growth shattered the city's balance, trading green spaces for concrete and prosperity for pollution. In its rush to modernize, Lahore forgot the very soul that once made it eternal, sealing its fate beneath a veil of grey. In Lahore, the numbers are apocalyptic. AQI readings soar to 600, 12 times the hazardous threshold. This isn't an emergency, it's the baseline. Each breath is a gamble, as fine particles invade lungs and bloodstream, stealing years from lives. Yet a deeper doubt lingers. Are these numbers even the full story? In Lahore, life endures through a haze of smog. Children play, markets bustle, and people adapt. Yet the city feels haunted, its spirit dulled, its colors muted. The smog, now a fifth season, has woven itself into daily life, turning resilience into a quiet, collective despair. Lahore survives, but at what cost? In Lahore's ancient streets, the dust and smog aren't accidents. Many whisper it's not fate, but deliberate neglect. Choices made for profit, not people. The evidence is everywhere. Neglected buildings, burning garbage, unchecked factories. The smog is a symptom of deeper corruption, a system where accountability vanishes and the curse thrives. Beneath Lahore's smog lies not just neglect, but a complete systemic failure. Poisoned waterways, lost greenbelts, and ancient trees felled for roads have created a city engineered for cars, not people. Laws are ignored, agencies powerless. Can a city built on decay ever truly heal, or does it need a complete rebirth? In the suffocating haze of Lahore, the debate turns from pollution to something deeper. Is the city haunted by the ghosts of its past glory or by broken promises? The majestic monuments stand as silent witnesses, the dust a reminder of what's been lost. The real crisis is not just in the air but in the city's soul. Lahore's infamous fifth season, months of thick, toxic smog, has stolen years from its people. A landmark study confirms life expectancy is in freefall. Breathing the city's air is like smoking, even for children. The air is not just unhealthy, it is a silent, proven killer. The city's greatest threat is the very air it breathes. In response to mounting pressure and damning new research, the authorities have begun to act, or at least they have begun the performance of acting. Recent news cycles have been filled with dramatic announcements of sweeping crackdowns. The numbers are brandished like trophies. Over 2,600 outdated, smoke-belching factories have been sealed. More than 11,000 polluting vehicles, from rickety rickshaws to ancient diesel-guzzling trucks, have been confiscated and taken off the roads. On the surface, it is a revelation of intent, a sign that the government is finally taking the crisis seriously. It is a grand gesture, designed to reassure a desperate public that the tide is turning. But for many who live beneath the grey skies, these shutdowns feel like a charade, a piece of political theatre played out for the media. They have seen this play before. The sealed factories often quietly reopen a few weeks later, after a fine is paid or an influential connection is made. The confiscated vehicles are soon replaced by others just as old and just as polluting. It is a revolving door of enforcement, creating the illusion of action without addressing the root cause. A system where profit is prioritized over public health and regulations are treated as mere suggestions. The crackdown, many suspect, is not a solution, but a temporary pacification. The revelation here is not in the action, but in its futility. You cannot reverse a curse that took decades to weave with a few weeks of frantic activity. The problem is too deep, too enmeshed in the city's economic and political fabric. Shutting down a few thousand factories does little when the entire model of industrialization is built on cheap, dirty energy. Taking old cars off the road is a temporary measure when there is no affordable, accessible public transport to replace them. These actions are like trying to empty the ocean with a bucket. They address the most visible symptoms while leaving the disease to fester and grow in the shadows. This exposes a heartbreaking truth. Perhaps even the authorities are powerless against the monster they helped create. Or perhaps they lack the political will for the radical, painful changes that are truly required. The Shutdown Charade reveals the immense gap between acknowledging a problem and solving it. It shows that the city is trapped in a cycle of crisis and cosmetic response. The real revelation is a sense of profound hopelessness. If this dramatic, widely publicized crackdown is the best the system can offer, then the curse is far stronger than anyone imagined, and the city's redemption feels further away than ever. The most recent and perhaps most terrifying revelation has emerged not from atmospheric sensors, but from the quiet, sterile rooms of maternity wards. New medical studies have begun to trace the path of the poison to the most vulnerable population of all, the unborn. Researchers have found evidence of PM2.5 particles, the same microscopic daggers that lodge in the lungs, crossing the placental barrier. This means the toxins in Lahore's air are not just being inhaled by the mother, but are being directly fed to the developing fetus in the womb. The curse is no longer just an environmental issue, it is becoming an inheritable one. This discovery has added a new, horrific dimension to the crisis. The Whispers are of a generation being damaged before they can even take their first breath. Doctors are quietly observing and documenting a rise in low birth weights, premature births, and developmental issues in newborns, creating a suspected link to the mother's exposure to high pollution levels during pregnancy. The invisible harm is being made visible in the fragility of the city's newest residents. The air is sculpting the next generation, not in a cradle of health and safety, but in a crucible of toxicity. This is a revelation that strikes at the very heart of a society's instinct for survival and continuation. The implications of this are profound and long-reaching. The damage inflicted in the womb does not end at birth. It can set the stage for a lifetime of health problems, from compromised lung function and chronic asthma to potential neurological and cognitive deficits. Lahore may be creating a generation predisposed to illness, a population whose potential is capped before it is even realized. The city is not just stealing years from the end of life, it is compromising the very beginning. This knowledge is a heavy burden for expectant parents, who must wrestle with the fear that the simple act of breathing in their own city could be harming their child. This is the ultimate betrayal. A city should be a place of sanctuary, a place to build a family and nurture a future. But Lahore's air has turned the womb, the safest of havens, into a zone of exposure. The revelation that the dust's reach extends even here, into the sacred space of creation, is perhaps the most damning indictment of all. It suggests that the curse is not just attacking the present, but is actively working to poison the future. The whispers of the unborn are a silent scream, a warning that the city is consuming its own children. Yet, amidst the grim revelations and the systemic failures, a different kind of truth is revealed. One not of despair, but of a strange and stubborn beauty. In the face of overwhelming entropy, the people of Lahore continue to create small pockets of order and hope. These are not grand acts of defiance, but quiet, personal rituals of resilience. You see it in the garbage pickers who carefully hose down piles of refuse before sorting through them, a small act of washing away the filth to make their work bearable, a baptism in a polluted world. It is a moment of dignity carved out of a landscape of decay. This resilience is found in the most unexpected places. In the old city, there is a tradition of buying captive birds, only to set them free as a form of spiritual offering or prayer. In a city where the air itself is a cage, the sight of a flock of sparrows suddenly released, soaring into the hazy sky, is a powerful and poignant act of rebellion. It is a symbolic release from a collective prison, a fleeting moment of grace that asserts freedom in the face of suffocation. These rituals are the city's heartbeat, faint but steady, a refusal to let its spirit be entirely extinguished by the smog. You see this resilience in the meticulous care given to the things that can be controlled. Shopkeepers who endlessly wipe their wares are not just fighting the dust, they are defending their small patch of the world from the encroaching chaos. Families who cultivate small but vibrant flower pots on their balconies are planting hope in a sky of grey. These are not acts of denial, but of adaptation and affirmation. They are a declaration that even in a poisoned environment, beauty and care still have meaning. These small, repeated acts of defiance are a form of prayer, a testament to the enduring human need to create order and find light in the darkness. This is perhaps the most profound revelation of all, that human spirit can adapt and find ways to flourish even in the most toxic of environments. The curse may have a grip on the city's lungs, but it does not have a complete hold on its soul. These rituals of resilience are the city's immune system, fighting back in small but significant ways. They do not solve the problem of pollution, but they do provide a reason to endure it. They reveal a strength that is as pervasive and persistent as the dust itself, a quiet insistence on life, beauty and hope. In Lahore, clean air is no longer a right, but a commodity. The wealthy seal their homes, buy purifiers, and move through the city untouched, while the poor breathe the unfiltered smog. The sky is for sale, and only a select few can afford to buy a piece of it. The poison of Lahore is no longer just in the air, it's in the city's memory. Generations have grown up under grey skies, forgetting blue ever existed. When the fight fades, the curse becomes part of who we are. The true loss is not just clean air, but the memory of what's been lost. Lahore is a city of haunting contradictions, where the ghosts of emperors walk through industrial smog and the call to prayer is answered by the rasp of struggling lungs. Its beauty and decay are inseparable, woven from a magnificent past and a turbulent present. The dust that chokes Lahore is the echo of empires, a reminder that even the grandest visions can crumble, not to armies, but to the slow creep of dust. The domes and minarets now stand as tombstones in a graveyard of smog, silent witnesses to a slow-motion catastrophe. The echo of empires is a mournful sigh, reminding us that even the most beautiful dreams can suffocate when a city forgets how to breathe. The air in Lahore is not merely polluted, it feels genuinely haunted. It's a ghost story told in real time, where the color blue is a myth, jasmine and roses are overwhelmed by diesel, and every breath adds to a silent, creeping horror. The true terror is how quietly we grow used to it. Beneath Lahore's smog and dust lies a deeper truth. The city's curse is not just pollution, but a reflection of a broken relationship with itself and its environment. The dust is both a witness and a keeper of secrets, waiting for a generation brave enough to unearth what has been lost and to write a new chapter. So we leave Lahore as we found it, under an unsettled sky. It is a sky that offers no easy answers, no simple conclusions. The city exists in a state of limbo, caught between the grandeur of its imperial ghosts and the grim reality of its poisoned air. It is a testament to both the resilience of the human spirit and the terrifying consequences of our collective actions. Lahore is not just a place on a map, it has become a symbol, a cautionary tale for the 21st century. It forces us to reflect, not just on this one city, but on the dust that connects all ancient places, the dust of history that we are all, in some way, inhaling. The invisible curse of Lahore is a story that should unsettle us all, for its elements are not unique. The struggle between heritage and progress, between environmental health and economic ambition, is a drama being played out in cities across the globe. Lahore is simply an extreme case, a place where the consequences have become so visible, so tangible, that they can no longer be ignored. It serves as a stark reminder that the air we breathe is a shared inheritance, a sacred trust. And when that trust is broken, the resulting poison seeps into every aspect of life, tainting the past, the present, and the future. The questions raised by Lahore's plight must continue to hang in the air long after we turn away. Can a curse woven over decades be unraveled in a few years? Can the blood memory of poison be cleansed? Can a city remember how to dream of blue skies? These are not rhetorical questions. The fate of millions depends on the answers. The path forward for Lahore requires more than just new laws and technologies. It demands a revolution of the heart, a renewed sense of collective responsibility, and a fierce, unwavering love for the city that is strong enough to save it from itself. Ultimately, the story of Lahore is a call to see the unseen, to listen to the whispers of the haunted air, and to recognize the ghosts of our own making. For in the final analysis, the dust that never sleeps in Lahore is a part of a larger, global cloud. It is the dust of our own choices, and it has yet to settle. The sky above this ancient, beautiful, and suffering city remains unsettled, waiting for us to decide which story will be written on it next. One of continued decay, or one of a long-awaited, hard-won, and desperately needed breath of fresh air.